Hello everyone and welcome back to Mushy TV. I'm so glad that you are here. So in today's video, I thought that as you can tell by the title, I thought that I would talk to you a little bit about budgeting in specifically. I thought that I would show you the different types of kits that I have recently bought both from Happy Planner and from Erin Condren, and I thought that I would really just showcase how I end up using it in my own planning journey, because I know that budgeting and money management and cash flow management becomes so important, especially when it comes to managing your own mental health, because having like a really good relationship with your money, I don't know about you guys, but to me it has created so much freedom that I have a plan in place. So, I figured that as I'm learning my own kind of tips and tricks, that I thought that I would just share that with you. And I know that some of you have requested this, so here it is. Okay, before we get right into it, if you are brand new here, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me here on this channel. If you are brand new, consider subscribing. We usually chat about 2 to 3 times a week here. We're trying to find our own schedule, to be honest with you. We usually chat a few times a week and we talk about planning and conscious living and what are the tools that will create a more intentional life where you live by design. So if that sounds good, I think you're going to love it here. Okay, let's get right into this. So because if most of you are already familiar, I'm going to spare you the story. But those of you that are brand new, basically with planning, it has been one of those things where like January has completely thrown me right off my game. And so I had to completely reconstruct how I'm actually using my planners. So I ended up switching out from Happy Planner and moved right into Erin Condren with a full-blown love affair. But alongside that, I also wanted to kind of utilize some of the tools that I have purchased from Happy Planner, because I bought an entire budget kit and I still use it. So I thought that I would just kind of bring you overhead in a moment and I will show you how I use each of the tools and why they help me budgeting for the month and also for on a weekly and on a bi-weekly basis. So I will show you some examples of that. And then that way, potentially, you can kind of bring your own budget in balance and you don't feel as overwhelmed as I was about a month ago. So let's go. I thought that I would just show you guys the system that I ended up transferring into from what I was using with the Happy Planner. So this is the new Happy Planner that I ended up buying. Like this was the order that I got in January. So I just show you how it was set up, and I did give it a shot for about a month until I sort of decided that it wasn't really working for me. But I thought that I would at least show you guys, if you are an avid Happy Planner user, then this system might actually work for you really well. If not, then I will show you the Erin Condren side as well. So here we go. So this is just, I think it's like a girl power, whatever planner that I got. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so I bought the budget kit, which I thought would be spectacular. So it came with this dashboard, and it also came with some money envelopes, and there's a sticker set. So it came with quite a few things. I end up not using this at all, so I might end up just gifting it. But for now, I'm just kind of leaving it in here as sort of like a divider, or like I know where we're at. And then a while back, I bought like an actual budget kit, like an accessory kit that you can buy, which came with this little tab, and then it came with blank calendars. So I ended up chucking that because I ended up using the actual calendar that this planner came with. But I just thought that I would show you the overview of how I ended up setting it up. But basically, I just kind of go through the entire month and then I write down all of the expenses. I'm doing my best just to use basic boxes when I'm paying out, staff, when the paydays are. And for that, I actually found this to be really helpful. It came with the sticker set, which has all the paydays, some dollar signs, a couple of like small inspirational little encouraging notes, and then pay bill due. I end up not really using any of these stickers, to be honest, because I just find them to be pretty big. Like if I'm looking at, I'll show you a blank month so you can kind of see. But if I'm putting these, like where it says bill due, I usually have, for one day, I usually have more than one bill that's actually due. So I found that to be kind of redundant for me to just put these stickers in, because then it takes up about a quarter of a box of like the entire month. Not the month, but you know what I mean? Like it takes up like a quarter of this box, and then I found that I didn't have enough space to actually be able to use it properly. I still like the payday ones because then I could just put them in a corner and it doesn't really bother anything. So that's how I was using this guy. But basically what I was doing in the past is I would just look at a full month, and I would look at on a bi-weekly basis of what are some of the bills that are coming up, and then I would kind of list them out separately on, usually on my computer or on a piece of paper, and I would kind of go through that. And I would also start listing out the income that was coming in from all the sources, and for both my husband and for myself. And that was sort of the system that I was using, which was effective, but it wasn't, I didn't really find that I was as specific as I wanted to be. And then now let's go into Erin Condren and see how things change. The one thing that I have to say though that was really excellent with Happy Planner is these things. And I thought that this was the biggest waste of money ever at first. Let me just zoom you guys in. These are the money envelopes. And until I kind of figured out how I wanted to use them, I really had like no purpose for them. But I ended up basically setting one envelope up for cash, for weekly grocery shopping cash. I have an envelope, oh, and then there's cash coming right out of it. So I set up an envelope each for each of my children. So this is where they're getting their allowance. And you might be like, well, but don't they have their own piggy bank? And they really do, but honestly, they never use it. And it wasn't tangible enough for them to continue on using it, or for them to really grasp and make that connection between what's actual cash versus like how much you can spend. And when we go to places, then what can you do with that? So this has helped. I just put some cute stickers on it, although it's kind of coming up, but that's okay. So this way, each of them have their own allowance, and then each week, whenever they do their chores, then we put more cash in here. So right now it's just filled with a lot of change. And then I also have one envelope called the bi-weekly fun cash. Now I usually allocate, and I started allocating cash for fun. So fun would be us eating out. Fun would be an outing, a date night, any type of family event that is really not that it's not necessary, but it's not a mandatory thing. It's an optional thing that we do as a family or as a couple. So this is sort of where I started allocating at least some cash for that. Like if let's say that I wanted to, like I'm out of makeup, and then like this would be the fund that I would kind of go to for me to like replenish, I don't know, mascara, for example. But before I even get to that, the whole grocery thing, I've been doing my best to keep on budget with groceries, and I found that to be like the hardest thing, especially when we go to, if I have a week when we go to Costco versus when we have a week when we just go to the grocery store. That's where I'm noticing a big difference, because I found that it would like eat up a lot of our budget, and I would always feel really guilty that I couldn't keep us on track. So what I started doing is I started taking out cash each week, and then whenever we would have cash left over, I would actually just leave it right in the envelope, or I would move it into the fun cash. And then here, if we didn't really need to spend any money, then I can take some of this and I can move it back into the grocery, and then that way we can kind of play around with it a little bit more. But then the other part of it is that this will allow me to really get ready for those Costco trips. So when we do go to Costco, I'm not going to feel guilty for spending over $300 at Costco, and then you buy like 5 items, which is very common. Like you guys know, like if you go to Costco regularly, you know that it doesn't take very long for you to blow your budget, but then you also don't have to go every single week. So that has been a life changer. Like if you do nothing else with Happy Planner, then I would recommend just getting cash envelopes. And these are plastic, like these are like almost like silicone. So they're really easy to carry around. It's narrow enough that I can put it in my inner pocket on the weekends. And then that way it's just coming with me. So that's for one. Now let's move on to the actual budget and what are the kits that are really helping me. So I showed you the sticker set from Happy Planner, and sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. I ended up picking this up not long ago from Christian Designs. This is from, they have this available at Michael's. And this was actually really useful because like, look, like a lot of the times when I'm doing budgeting, all I need is like these thin little strips of stickers. So I'll just show you a close-up. So this one just has basic boxes, then it just has like a little sticker that says bill, and then there's some more boxes. But then you also have, okay, this is Erin Condren, but then you also get just clear asterisk sign, dollar sign, dots. Dots are really great if you wanted to color coordinate any of your bills. Then again, more dollar sign, calculator, a couple of like little motivational things, which, you know, I can kind of take it or leave it. But then it also gives you, and even the other kit, it has like a no spend. And I didn't really understand the whole no spend thing until I tried it for myself. Oh my gosh. So each month I started incorporating 2 weeks within a month of a no spend week where I only spend money on like groceries, like the things that are actually necessary. And even if I have money in the fun account, it kind of doesn't matter. It just, you know, for me to just keep that control, that sense of control, it's so important because I find that especially if I'm working a lot or I'm tired or I'm getting frustrated, it's really easy for me to go to, oh, well, I'll just buy it, whatever. I'll just buy a magazine. I'll just go to chapters. I will fill that void of frustration or that tiredness with just buying stuff, and I may or may not need it. So this way it asks me to just slow down and make a conscious decision on my purchases. And just wait, and like it's okay to wait, like nothing bad will happen. Now moving into the actual budget plan. So this is the budget book, which I'm sure that you guys have seen because I've shown this before in like plan with me's and things like that. But what I wanted to show you that has changed for me as I started using it. So I showed you this last video. I'll just, you know, take this part out, but I'm looking at 2 weeks. I write down all of the things. I put the dates in of what are the things that are coming up. And here I write in the amounts. If they change, then I can kind of just white it out and then enter in the right amount. But then I thought about this, that I would like put in total expense and I would enter in the income here and then how much I want for savings. So that's the part that I'm going to be changing moving forward, where for this pay period, I end up entering in all of the expenses, and honestly, it's spilled through to the following page. But here I kind of take my time with the check marks if they have been paid or not. And then I entered in a section about credit card updates because I want to be able to see and I wanted to be able to keep track based on the payment plan that I have created for those. Let's get you zoomed in. Based on the payment plan that I have created for the credit cards as I'm paying them back, and also I've done the same thing with HST, like with any type of like a government that I have to pay back to, whether it's taxes or HST or like whatever it is, then I want to kind of write down what the actual balance is and what are the increments that I'm paying back, and then how those balances have changed, because I need to see that level of progress in order for me to keep motivated. So moving forward, what I will do here is I will start entering in all of the expenses on one page. So that's what we will do for March. So basically, expenses will go here for the 2 weeks, and then I will use the other page. I will kind of break it into two categories. One can be for credit card and any type of debt repayment. And then in the bottom, that can be all the savings. And I realize that, like, some of you will be like, well, just get all these bills out. So I know that some of you will be like, yeah, but at the end there's a debt tracker, and it's very true, there is, but this is not enough space for me when I'm paying something back bi-weekly to, like, this is just not enough space for me, especially when I'm paying back more than like one thing. So I honestly, it's very motivating for me to see it on a paycheck by paycheck basis, because then to me that's very motivating, and it gives me a sense of momentum of how I want to move forward. So half of this page will be dedicated to credit card updates, half of this page will be dedicated to savings and how I wanted to allocate the savings, and then I will do the exact same thing for the next 2 weeks. And because I do budgeting bi-weekly, you might be doing budgeting weekly, whatever your system is. I'm just kind of showing you what has been working for me. But one thing that is really interesting that I started doing, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with this page, that full like month at a glance thing, and I started writing down what is extra that's coming up, and what is extra as a new bill that's coming up that's specific to this month. So I pay my insurance coverage for my business. I pay that quarterly, so I don't have to pay that every single month. And so right now for the month of March, that's going to be coming up, so that will be like an extra expense that's coming up. So I'm just kind of writing that here. All of the other stuff that can sort of come onto this page, but I like that they give you four full pages, because just the fact that I can here, like, what's kind of cool though about February is that on 2 pages I can see the entire month and I see how we did. So that, again, to me, that's very, very, very motivating. Between this and the cash envelopes, game changer, absolute game changer, because I hate having to constantly keep track and like penny pinch every part of, you know, us eating out, or if I get lunch, or, you know, like getting groceries, can I buy this extra thing or not? Like, to me, it's extremely exhausting, and honestly, I don't find it to be functional. I like that I just kind of set a budget, put the cash in, you know, and also, like, it allowed me to also teach my children how I want them to learn budgeting, and how to allocate cash so that you always have money for the things that you wanted to buy, and when to kind of cut back a little bit. So, because you don't always need everything. And I mean, most of you guys probably already know this. So this is how I use the budget planner. But then the only thing that I'm missing from this, and I started incorporating that here with my daily, is honestly just a calendar. Because that's one thing that I really liked with the Happy Planner, that I would have like a full month at a glance. Well, okay, so like this is March, but I'll just show you January, like an empty month here. Empty, you know what I mean? So the one thing that I would really like to have is to have like a full month at a glance, and then that way I can kind of start marking down just extra funds that are going to be coming out that are really new, or it's an odd amount, or I just don't want to forget about it. So I started slowly incorporating my daily into that, where I would just find the actual specific day. Like, I think I've done that with March already on a couple of occasions, where I started writing down like specific, where did I put it? Specific amounts that are going to be coming out. Yeah, like I've done that where it's like an auto payment. It's coming out on the 28th. Usually it's coming out on, I think it comes out on like the 1st or 2nd of the month. So like the date has changed. I mark it right down that, okay, your cell phone bill is coming out that day. Pay attention to it. Make sure that you leave cash in the account. That's one thing that I will probably end up doing as well, is to just leave a quick note of where the money's coming out of. Because as I'm making changes to where funds are coming out, most of my bills end up coming out of a credit card, and then I set up an auto payment on my bills so that that amount gets paid onto my credit card the day that the funds come out. Then that way it shows that you have like multiple payments that you make on your credit card, which is also very useful, because then it shows a really good repayment history. Because like with credit card companies, they like to see that activity that you're using your credit card, but then you're paying that off quickly. And if you want, now it's not a big savings, but you know, like if you're conscious of saving money, they actually end up giving you money back if you end up looking at the amount that comes out. Like, let's say in this case it's 71.19. So if your credit card company charges you the 71.19, have an auto payment for that exact amount go onto your credit card, because that way the credit card company will actually give you they will credit you back the interest, because you didn't borrow the funds long. So like they usually give you like the 21 or 20-day grace period that's sort of like, they calculate the amount that you borrowed based on days, not on months. So that's just a quick tip for you. But this is all I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you are using for your system. The other thing that I also really like is to having the envelopes in the back, because when you have envelopes in the back, you can take a stack of bills, you can kind of put them in the back, and then you always have it, and then you're not like searching your house for, where did that bill go? How much is it again? So just having that nice system, like I very much enjoy the Erin Condren system a lot more, because then I don't have to carry a happy planner, and like I don't find that I have to carry too many things with me. I just kind of throw this into the folio. It comes with me. If something new comes up, I can keep note of it. I can update it here at home and on my computer, and then that way it's just simple. It's just simple. It's cleaner. It's much nicer. I will likely use these stickers just so that it kind of pops a little bit better on my monthly, but I'm figuring myself out on that. I have seen people use like a deluxe monthly from Erin Condren specific to budgeting only. For now, I'm quite happy with like the little budget book, because it's really allowing me to see all areas of our finances and how we're doing. So I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you are using, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you learned something new. If you did, you can give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel. Comment below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know, what tools are you using to stay on budget? I would love to hear from you, because honestly, this is just my system right now, but it may change in the future. Who knows? And honestly, I think it's all about figuring out what is the best system that works for you, and you continuously change and evolve as you kind of fine tune how your brain works. At least that's just how it kind of stacks up in my mind. So let me know what tools you're using, what you're loving, and in the meanwhile, keep planning, keep journaling, and keep shining your light. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.